We'll be starting the actual live cast in a minute, but I wanted to get us set up and on air ahead of time. I'll let you watch this for a little while I'm finishing getting set up. A little bit of information and preview to think about our meditation this morning. The location for the equinox, exactly where the sun is going to be directly overhead when it crosses the equator, is in the Amazon rainforest this time. So we'll talk a little bit about that as we move along. We'll get started right at 9 o'clock Pacific, 1600 UTC, and the meditation will go till about 9:30, and then there'll be some time for discussion and questions and answers afterward, and I'll be available and online probably for the full hour if you're interested in hanging out with us that long. If you're just logging on, welcome. We'll get started in just about another minute or two here. Again, the equinox this year, the sun will be right overhead at a location in the Amazon rainforest. So that's going to be the theme for our meditation. Agaya and Ubuntu to everyone. We're just about set up and we'll begin shortly. Gaia and Ubuntu, and welcome to this Novasutras Equinox celebration. I'm Dr. Michelle Merrill. It's great to have you here. So for this session, you'll want to arrange yourself for meditation session. So if you can, find a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, where you can sit comfortably, turn off any unneeded devices or other distractions. For the first few minutes, as people are settling in, I'll tell everyone a little bit more about the equinox and a little bit about these concepts of Gaia and Ubuntu that are central to the Novasutras movement and are going to feature in our meditation. Then in about 5 minutes, we'll start a guided meditation. I'll help you get into a calm, relaxed, and meditative state. Then I'll let you know the actual time of the equinox. And for a few minutes, we'll really focus on reverence and loving kindness, what we call a Gaia and Ubuntu for the whole world. After we finish out the meditation, I'll talk a little bit more about the Novasutras movement, talk about our plans, our values, ways that people can participate. Then we'll circle back around and talk a little bit more about celebrating the equinox specifically, and then open up for some questions and discussion. You should see a chat window. And let me just confirm that that's there. Yes, you should see a chat window if you've got the YouTube interface open. And feel free to say hello now. If questions come to you and you want to write those in there, that's great. And again, as we move into the discussion, we'll be using that chat. Okay. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about the equinox. It's called that, equinox, equal night, because it's the time of year when night and day are about the same length. And that's true no matter where in the world you are. On this day, the center of the sun will rise and set 12 hours apart. This gives us a tiny bit more daylight than nighttime because the sun is not just a point in the sky. Also, no matter where you are, the sun rises today directly in the east and sets today directly in the west from wherever your position is, with the exception of what goes on at the poles. Today at 16:15 UTC, 15 minutes after the hour, is going to be the specific moment as the Earth orbits the sun when the Earth's equator is aligned directly at the sun. So from the equator, the sun appears to be directly overhead at your position. And let me what that looks like here. So at that time, 15 minutes after the hour, the sun will be directly overhead where it's solar noon on the equator. And that's, equator is 0 degrees latitude, and where it will be solar noon is at 61 degrees 38 minutes west, which puts it over South America along the Itapara River, not far from Manaus, Brazil. This is where the Rio Negro meets the Amazon, a big confluence there. So this is in the northern reaches of the Amazon rainforest, which is still the largest rainforest in the world today. I'll show you some about the location there. Now, there isn't much in the way of seasonal change in the tropics, especially close to the equator. You get slightly rainier and drier seasons. But as you go up in latitude, you do have seasons. So in the northern hemisphere, today marks the end of winter and the beginning of spring. The days are growing longer, and in many places you can already see things emerging from winter's rest, with new leaves and blossoms as the first harbingers of the growing seasons to come. The seasons are related to the orbit of the Earth around our sun, and how the northern and southern hemispheres are sometimes tilted toward the sun and sometimes tilted away from the sun. Sorry about that. Now, what's even more amazing is not only is the Earth making this annual elliptical journey around our sun, but this brilliant blue bubble that we call home is dancing around a moving body. The sun itself is in orbit around the gravitational center of our galaxy. So we're actually moving in this beautiful open spiral, this helix shape, as we move through time and space. Novasutras celebrates the solstices, the equinoxes, and the cross quarters, those midpoints between the solstice and the equinox, because these are amazing planetary phenomena that are really about the interaction of our home planet and our sun. This is scientifically based. All humans can agree on this. And of course, many religious traditions include some celebrations associated with these 8 times of year. In Novasutras, we're choosing these times to celebrate our 2 key concepts, Agaya and Ubuntu. Agaya is a new term. It's intended as an expression of the deep, sacred beauty of life in the universe. Ubuntu is a term that represents the connections between things, what binds all of us together in the more than human world, with reverence, joy, generosity, gratitude, and loving kindness. The Novasutras movement seeks to promote Agaya and Ubuntu. We honor the principles that all of nature is sacred and should be treated with reverence and loving kindness. That change is essential, inevitable, and important in all life. That complexity and maturity emerge from cooperative relationships, and that the beauty of the living world is to be savored, honored, celebrated, and protected. Now we're going to move into the meditation. I'll talk you through guided meditation for about 10 to 12 minutes. I'll let you know as we approach the specific minute of the equinox and invite you to focus very specifically at that point in time, and I'll talk you through that. First, to open this as sacred space, we will do a practice that's connected to what Buddhists might recognize as metta. Practitioners of various neo-pagan or indigenous religions will recognize that we are calling the corners or calling the quarters. We actually use 6 directions. So you can do this while standing and moving if you like, or just sitting and thinking, whichever is going to be more comfortable for you right now. Because of my camera setup, I'm not really able to move around too much, so I'll do this here from my chair. So I'm going to start with where the sun is now, the nearest cardinal direction. In my case, I'm in California, it's mid-morning, so the sun is still roughly in the east. I'll go around the compass directions following the path of the sun, east to south to west, then north, then up and down. Then we'll start with ourselves as the center and radiate out. If you'd like, please do follow along out loud. Or you can just think and feel through this, sending your wishes out in each direction, in each space as we talk about them. May all beings to the east abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the south abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the west abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings above abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings below abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May I abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings nearby, all those that I can reach with my senses, abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings in my watershed abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings in my bioregion, in my surrounding habitat, abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings on my continent abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings in this hemisphere abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all the beings in Earth's biosphere abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all life everywhere in the universe abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. Now you are invited to find a comfortable place to sit, free from distractions. Place your hands gently on your knees so your arms hang comfortably at your sides, with your elbows at a relaxed angle. You may close your eyes or soften your gaze as you wish. Once you're sitting comfortably, take a deep breath in. Hold it for a moment. Now exhale slowly and completely. Inhale slowly through your nose, noticing the feeling of the air moving past your nostrils down into your lungs. Hold that breath again. Now slowly release the breath. Feel how your chest and belly expand and rise. They move and relax as you exhale. Allow your chest and belly to expand and rise gently as you inhale again. And now continue to take slow, comfortable breaths at your own pace. We are now approaching the moment of the equinox. From an earthly perspective, the sun will be directly overhead on the equator, where it's solar noon above the great rainforests of the Amazon, along the Tipara River. I want you to envision how that looks and feels right now, A brilliant midday sun directly over the dense leafy canopy of the rainforest trees. Were you standing in a clearing, you would only cast a shadow directly under your feet. But most likely, you're in the deep shade of the rainforest. In the rainforest, you're surrounded by aliveness. The rich smells of soil and fungus, the sweet and sharp smells of flowers and fruits, the brilliant colors of birds and insects flying between branches and vines. Every mature tree is a habitat of its own, hosting dozens of other plants on its trunks and limbs, with uncountable insects, plus frogs, birds, squirrels, monkeys climbing through it at any given time. Now imagine taking in that exuberant vitality, that living interdependence, and using it to feed your own loving kindness, to grow Ubuntu and Gaia within you. Now imagine that Ubuntu and Gaia shining forth through you, from your heart and out into the world. Imagine that you are surrounded by community, that everyone meditating right now is also radiating Ubuntu and Gaia. Together, we shine Ubuntu and Gaia across the deep and sparkling immensities of the oceans, across the vast tracts of forests, across the deserts and plains. We shine Ubuntu and Gaia to every place on earth now touched by the light of this equinox sun. Together, we shine Gaia and Ubuntu out to touch all of those in the dark of night right now, all around the world. Together, we shine the light of Ubuntu and Gaia across the universe from our beautiful little home world. Together, we inhale Ubuntu and exhale Gaia. Together, we inhale Gaia and exhale Ubuntu. I invite you to extend these experiences of Gaia and Ubuntu and offer them as a gift to the whole world. Ubuntu expands our awareness of connection and interbeing. Take a moment now to consider those people with whom you've experienced connection. Think of people that you love, people that love you, people who at some time have given you a kindness, and the people that you have treated with compassion. Now, consider other beings in the more than human world whose presence has enriched your life. Perhaps an animal has been a valued companion. A plant has beautified your home, your garden. A tree has shaded you. Perhaps you have nurtured or tended to a plant or animal. Certainly, with every breath in, you take in nourishing oxygen that some plants exhaled. And then you exhale carbon dioxide that will nourish other photosynthesizers. All of the food that you've ever eaten was once alive, and that life nourishes you. This is interbeing at its very deepest level. This is what we call Ubuntu. Everywhere in the world, these interconnections exist. As you breathe in, allow yourself to feel these connections of Ubuntu. As you breathe out, send your gratitude for them along those radiating interconnections. This gratitude to the other beings with whom we share connection is just one facet of what we call a Gaia. A Gaia is also the deep sense of wonder we feel when we look at something beautiful, the petals of a flower, the brilliant feathers of a bird. A Gaia is what we feel when we see the surging waves of a sea in storm, or when we gaze up into a clear night sky filled with distant stars. A Gaia is an expression of our profound connection to the sacred beauty of our universe. A Gaia can inspire feelings of humbleness, but also feelings of expansive pride and great joy. As you slowly inhale, invite this sacred joy of a Gaia into the center of your being. Hold it for a moment, and then as you release your breath, send with it your feelings of humble gratitude to spread into the world. Inhale that wonder and joy. Exhale gratefulness for interconnection. Inhale a Gaia. Exhale Ubuntu. Inhale a Gaia. Exhale Ubuntu. Inhale a Gaia. Exhale Ubuntu. Now, inhale Ubuntu and hold that feeling of interconnection. Then exhale a Gaia to spread joy and wonder into the universe. Inhale Ubuntu. Exhale a Gaia. Inhale Ubuntu. Exhale a Gaia. Inhale Ubuntu. Exhale a Gaia. Now think for a moment, how does it feel to you to be on this lovely sphere we call the Earth, in a spiral dance around our sun as we travel around the heart of our galaxy? How does it feel to know that every atom in your body, just as everything on Earth, was once in the heart of a star that died, a star whose ashes formed our own solar system? And how does it feel to know that something as simple and elegant as a leaf can capture the light from our sun and turn it into sugars, into sweetness and sustenance, and the structures of life itself? All of that life is inside you, just as it fills the rainforest of the Amazon. When you're ready, you may open your eyes if you've had them closed, and start to allow yourself to gently return to the here and now. You should, excuse me. You can come into a state of calm attention, energized by your contemplation of Ubuntu and Gaia through the moment of the equinox. Take a moment to thank yourself for sharing in this worldwide meditation. We in the Novasutras community thank you for taking this step toward wellness and awareness. We thank you for all that you do as an agent of change, as an agent for Ubuntu and Gaia. Now, I'd like to talk for a bit about the Novasutras movement. Our main intention is to invite the power of community to transform global civilizations into expressions of those core values around Gaia and Ubuntu, so that we begin to live in a world that abides in Gaia and Ubuntu. Our goals for this orbit of the sun include organizing local celebrations for the equinoxes and solstices. Now is a good time to start planning for some small events on the cross quarter, which is May 5th. That will be at 1313 UTC. That's 6:13 a.m. Pacific. We'll host a meditation again. There will We would like to be planning larger events for this coming solstice. The solstice is going to be on a Thursday, June 21st. The actual moment of the solstice is at 10:07 UTC, which puts it at just after 3 a.m. Pacific time, but I'll be there. We'll find a way. So I encourage you to get in touch, contact us through novasutras.org, the website. Look for us on Twitter or Facebook, especially if you want to host a local celebration wherever you are. Let us know and we'll help you promote and share it. In addition to these celebrations of the seasons and the orbits of Earth, we'd like to expand our online presence and start developing a working wiki of Novasutras philosophy, research practices related to these ideas. Hoping that by this time next year, we'll have hundreds of pages on a wiki dedicated to this. We'd like to grow Novasutras communities in various countries around the world. And we'd like to unite thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of participants worldwide in conversations about community based on Gaia and Ubuntu. By 2019, we want to hold a major global celebration for the June solstice in 2019. So again, as much as we can for this one that's coming up in 3 months, but then a year after that, let's make it a big party. Also, based on that content of the wiki that we'd like to be developing soon, we'd like to start distributing printed books as well, and have that happening by the time of the December solstice in 2019. So a little less than 2 years from now. As we build momentum, the major things that the Novasutras movement hopes to bring people together on to defend and protect what we call the environment, really to defend and protect a Gaia and Ubuntu. Part of that is going to be responding to disasters and helping to rebuild after disasters. Part of that is supporting the social justice causes that will further a Gaia and Ubuntu worldwide. A big part of that is education. The Novasutras movement feels a responsibility to preserve certain aspects of knowledge and culture so that these aren't lost no matter how much chaos we're facing in the years to come. But very importantly, the Novasutras movement is about spreading joy and celebration in the spirit of a Gaia and Ubuntu. Of course, the Novasutras movement is going to need help to make this happen. We need people to share information about the movement to help it grow. We need creators to comment on things and then hopefully to begin writing blog posts and wiki pages, making videos for our YouTube channel, making or donating original music or images that we can use in videos, on posters, on the website, helping us get that wiki set up, helping us to build out the Novasutras calendar, and eventually maybe even designing a new language. Why not? So we need collaborators who can work together to edit videos and blog posts, who can get started on other Novasutras projects. And we need celebrants to help plan and stage festivities, celebrations, other events. This is, making masks, costumes, banners, flyers, whatever else is needed to make that celebration happen. So we need donors. We need generous people who can share their space to host celebrations or meetings or other gatherings. who can donate things that we can use to further this cause, video cameras, microphones, materials for celebrations, maybe buying Novasutras merchandise. We have posters, t-shirts, reusable cups, bags, stickers. You can buy those from our Redbubble site. Or you can directly contribute funds, and these will all help to support the cost of our efforts and help us build the movement. So if you haven't already, please do join the conversation in the comments or the live stream chat. And then after our discussion, please do go to the novasutras.org website to learn more and let us know how we can connect with you. So as you're finding ways to do that, I'm going to just say hello in the chat window here. And it looks like we have some hellos and good mornings and happy equinoxes. That's great to see. Again, feel free to go there if you have questions or thoughts. I'm going to circle back around and talk a little bit more about the equinox for a moment as food for some of our discussion. So as you'll see on the website, there are some key themes that are associated with the equinox that we'd like to celebrate in the Novasutras movement. First is the theme of balance. The equinox is this time when light and dark are in balance, and yet it's also the time when length of day in the higher latitudes is changing very quickly. So these are the pivot points of the year. And they remind us that impermanence and change really defines existence. So what are some of the things that help you to stay in balance? What do you need to keep your balance? And how can you respond to dynamic change and yet maintain the kind of stillness that can keep you from falling? If you have some thoughts on this, again, please do share them in the chat. I'll try and keep looking for those. Another important theme of the equinoxes is global unity. More so than the solstices, what makes the equinoxes so important to the Novasutras movement is that these are the time when everyone everywhere on Earth actually is experiencing similar things. These are the only days when the length of daylight is the same almost everywhere in the world, with the exceptions of the poles. Right now, they're in the twilight transition. The sun is setting in the Antarctic and rising in the Arctic for their months of dark in the south and light in the north that are coming. The equinoxes are, of course, the ideal time to really orient yourself. For everyone, everywhere on Earth, the sun rises due east and sets due west just on this day. Many ancient civilizations built structures or set stones to help them locate these directions and recognize the equinoxes. The equinoxes are also globally times of transition and migration, change and movement. Everywhere, migrating species are on the move from south to north, following the sun. In the northern hemisphere, this March equinox is a time of emergence. For farmers and gardeners, the spring equinox is marking the start of the planting season. In the wild, we see new shoots emerging as the ground warms. new leaves on the trees, things that begin to bloom at this time, like this lovely this I found. It's becoming a very important time for pollinators. They're just entering their busiest season, giving flowering plants some help reproducing across distances. And they're replenishing themselves with this sweet flower nectar that trees and other blossoms provide to entice them. Animals also cooperate in more direct ways to bring forth new life this season. So this idea of cooperation and reciprocation is very important at the equinox. So we've talked about the intentions for the Novasutras movement. We've talked about some of these key themes of the equinox. So based on that, what are some projects that you're thinking about that you want to begin in this springtime here in the north, or in this time of transition and harvest in the south? What's emerging or ripening for you now? Again, please share in the live stream chat, or if you're watching this video after the live stream, post your comments below. In this way, we can support each other and hold one another accountable for working toward our intentions. Do you have any questions or any thoughts or wishes that you would like to share? I'm going to see if I can get a little bit better place to look at the comment stream here. Bear with me just a moment. Okay, there we go. Oh, so Gary has a question about the solstice celebration. Certainly, I'd like to organize a live event about the solstice celebration. Oh, hold on just a moment here. Certainly, I'd like to organize a live event. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So for the solstice celebration, possibly what I will do, given the timing, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the summer solstice. And yeah, I fixed the echo. So one of the great things about that is it's actually the shortest night of the year. And it can be a really lovely night if you have the bandwidth to watch the sunset and stay up and watch the following sunrise. So I may attempt that and do a live chat during the moment of the solstice, which will be 3 a.m. Local time if I'm here in California. We'll try for that. And again, I'm not certain where in the world I will be in June, but if I'm in the Santa Cruz area, certainly I'd like to help organize a live event here for that evening or surrounding weekend. Oh, something else I wanted to mention actually in terms of equinox celebrations. Some people are hosting other celebrations through this evening. Some people had some celebrations last weekend, and this weekend can be a really great time to do a celebration as well. Saturday night at 8:30 your local time, wherever that is Earth Hour. This is something that is very popular internationally, where they ask that people turn off all lights and electronic devices, really power down everything from 8:30 to 9:30 local time. It's a chance to celebrate slightly darker skies if that's happening locally. In Singapore, it was a major celebration, and it really did make a bit of a difference. A lot of the big buildings turned off their lights at that time, and you could see a few more stars than normal, which was lovely. Also, because it's global, it really does reduce power demand and fossil fuels just a bit through that time. So Earth Hour might be a great time to incorporate an equinox celebration as well. Again, that's this coming Saturday, 8:30, whatever your local time is. For the solstice, again, this is in the Northern Hemisphere, a wonderful time to throw an outdoor party. Especially here in California, we can usually count on good weather for June. So that will all be posted on the website as that starts to come together. Feel free to leave comments on the events page now, and I will post further information. There's also the cross-quarter, astronomical cross-quarter is May 5th. Again, we'll host a little meditation and possibly have, certainly encourage people to have small gatherings on the cross-quarter if that works out. Okay, well, if there are no more questions and comments, I think we'll wind this down and bring it to a close. I would really love it if anyone who's on wants to share a small blessing in the chat. Just a wish for the coming season. It's been so wonderful to have all of you participating in this. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Um, and again, any feedback, comments, questions, you can leave those on the website, the Facebook page, on our Twitter stream, or in the comments here on this video. Okay, I'm going to close. Oh, thank you, Omar. I'm going to close this out now with another calling of the quarters, calling of the corners, just to help us carry Agaya and Ubuntu out into the world. Oh, beautiful, Gary. Thank you. May all beings to the east abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the south abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the west abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings above abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings below abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all of you abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all the beings that you encounter through this equinox day abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all the beings that you encounter as the earth goes around the sun abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings throughout the world, throughout the universe, abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. Thank you all for sharing this time with us. Ubuntu and Agaya.